Hey everybody, this is Steve Winward, and in this video I want to show you how you can use Power BI with Azure Information Protection. And together what you can do with this is that you can actually control when you have reports inside of the Power BI service and there's sensitive data inside of that. You can control that when people export the data, whether it's to Excel, PowerPoint, or PDF, that the Azure Information Protection sensitivity label carries with that file. What this means is that wherever users take that file, they still need to log into Azure Active Directory to ensure that they have access to view the report. So this is to prevent people from just exporting data from the Power BI service and then sharing that with people that should not actually be able to view that content. And now this has been in the commercial cloud for a little while now, but I'm really excited that today it works in Azure for Government and GCC High, which is our FedRAMP High compliant Office 365 cloud for federal customers. So let me go ahead and switch over to my laptop and we'll show this in action. All right, so I've got a report published to the Power BI service. And once again, this is in GCC High where I'm showing this. And so I have this human resources data set here that has some pretty sensitive information in my organization. And so I want to be able to secure this so that if somebody were to export data in a couple of different formats, PowerPoint, PDF, or Excel, I want to make sure that only people in my organization can view this. So if for whatever reason one of these files accidentally got outside of our organization, I want to ensure that those files are still protected. So I'm going to go back to the workspace and I'm going to show you how you can apply sensitivity labels to your reports in Power BI. All right, so we're in this workspace called AIP Sensitivity Labels Demo. And what I want to do is to the report itself, I want to apply a sensitivity label. So we're going to go to the report. We're going to say Settings. We're going to scroll down, and then now we're going to apply a sensitivity label, and this one's called PII Encrypt. So we'll go ahead and say Save. And now when we look at the sensitivity column here, it also indicates that there is a sensitivity label applied to that. So what's different here? Well, if we go back to the Power BI report, what we can do now is we can actually test exporting the different file formats. So first, let's go to a PowerPoint file. So we'll export this as PowerPoint. So what this is going to do is it's basically going to export each tab of my report as a new page in a PowerPoint presentation. And what we'll see is that when we actually go to open up this file, there is the sensitivity label that's going to be applied to this file, meaning we still have to authenticate to Azure Active Directory before we even have access to view the content inside of the PowerPoint slide. Okay, so the PowerPoint slide is ready to go. So let's go ahead and open that. And so what we see here is in the upper left, you can see that the PII Encrypt sensitivity label is applied to this particular file. And now we actually do have access to the PowerPoint slide. Once again, if I was not signed in with my Office 365 account, I would not be able to view this slide. Okay, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this report as a PDF file. So it's going to be very similar to when I exported that as PowerPoint. It's going to take a screenshot of each of the tabs in the report, but it's going to export that as PDF this time. And it's also going to apply that same AIP sensitivity label to the file. So let's go ahead to Export PDF. And now this is going to create a PDF file with the report. Okay, so the PDF file got successfully created. Now what we need to do is we need to actually open this file. So in order to view the exported PDF that has a sensitivity label applied to it, you do need another tool called the Azure Information Protection Viewer. So with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that PDF file that I downloaded. And now when we do that, we can view the PDF just like we normally would. And then we can actually go into the view permission here and we can actually see what are the details. So we can see that once again, the PII Encrypt sensitivity label was applied to this PDF file. All right, so let's go ahead and open that Excel file. And you can see that I'm already signed in with my Office 365 account. And now what I can do is I can actually see the model that was pulled in from the Power BI report. And then I can create a pivot table off of that as well. So we could take some of the employee information here. So we could look at, for example, the number of bad hires, the employee count. We could also look at age group as one of the rows. And let's look at the average age as well. And there you go. So this was basically showing you 3 different examples of exporting your data with the Azure Information Protection sensitivity labels applied. I wanted to show really quickly that in order to get this set up the first time, you do need to have a Power BI Service admin go into the tenant settings in the admin portal. Specifically, where you want to go is you want to go into the information protection section, expand that out, and then you want to make sure that this checkbox is enabled. And you have a couple of settings here. You can say that anybody in the organization can apply sensitivity labels to the content in Power BI, or you can say that these specific security groups are the ones that are able to apply sensitivity labels. Once you've enabled this, anybody can view the sensitivity labels, but this decision here is really about who can actually add new sensitivity labels to the content inside of Power BI. So I hope you enjoyed this demo. Just to kind of summarize, we showed how you can use Power BI and Azure Information Protection to better protect data when you're exporting that from the Power BI service. So we showed exporting PDFs, PowerPoint, and Excel, all while being applied the Azure Information Protection sensitivity labels and securing that data. So what this means is that if any of those file types were to leave your organization by accident, somebody would still have to go to Azure Active Directory to authenticate to make sure that they can actually see the information. If you have any questions about this video, please feel free to put them in the comments below. If you have any ideas of future videos you would like to see, please also feel free to put those in the comments below.